Our technical difficulties are over. Okay. Hi, babies. Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, Nath Hughes here. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Natalie Hughes. I am a life mindset and manifestation coach. In my business and on my platform, I help professional women to co-create emotionally fulfilled and purpose-driven lives for themselves. I'm so excited to be serving you guys today and chatting with you guys. Today we're tapping into what is God's promise for your love life. What does God want you to hear about your love life? What is your destiny in love? What are you fated to experience in love, right? In terms of that ideal partnership, the one, okay? We're talking about the end. We're not talking about the situationships. We're not talking about your next relationship and whether or not that person's going to be the one. No, this is what is God's promise, God's ultimate promise for you in your love life. So we're going to connect to the energy of the Most High. We're going to see what we can channel, okay? So there are 3 pictures on your screen. That's 3 piles for you to choose from. This video is live streamed, so there's not any timestamps yet because we have not gotten started, but the second that we are done with today's video, then there will be timestamps added in the description box, and that's how you can, fast forward to where you feel called to be. So go ahead and choose the picture or pictures that stand out the most to you, and then you'll pick your pile or keep listening. You get it. Okay, so also, because today is a live stream and I have our comment section open, you can absolutely send chats in the live chat and just beware that I only read and respond to comments in between each pile so that I can be focused and just, receive the message and channel, okay? So before we hop into pile number 1, I'm just going to make sure nobody's here. Hi, Sakura. It's so lovely to see you. I know that your username on YouTube is Serene777. I know who you are. How are you, my love? I hope you're doing well. Hi, Jordan. It's lovely to see you. Okay. Love you guys so much. We're going to get started with pile number 1. Hello, pile number 1. Okay, we had to get a good picture for you. Today we are tapping into the energy of what is God's promise for you in romance, okay? What is your romantic destiny? What is your fate in relationships? What does God want to tell you about your romantic life and, what he has planned for you? Because I think sometimes we go through shit and maybe we doubt, or maybe we just want some confirmation of what we feel and, what we desire. And maybe we want to know that our prayers are being heard. All right, so let's tap in. We're going to start off with some cards from the Magical Spirit Oracle. Tapping into the collective energy for pile number 1. What is their destiny in romance? What is God's promise to them in romance? Okay. They're telling me to keep pulling cards. Don't look too much at the cards that have come out. Keep pulling cards, and then it will all make sense. All right, what is God's promise to pile number 1? Oh, baby. What is God's promise? Oh my God, literally. Okay. So one of the cards that just came out from the Animal Apothecary deck says Destiny Path, literally. Okay. So we're going to get some tarot, and then I'm going to tell you all the cards that I've pulled in this spread. And then we're going to get into it. Okay. No. Let's go with the Rise, the Radiant Wise Tarot. I need to clip my fucking... Yeah, don't do that. Okay. I have a fingernail that I need to clip. Okay. Oh. Okay. Okay. Oh. All right. Sorry, bell number one. I forgot that I was filming for a little bit. And I had so many different thoughts that were coming into my mind. Sometimes you have a fucking thoughts that come into your mind. You're just like, that is enough. Oh, okay. Pile one. Okay, Seven of Wands, Justice, Judgment, the Tower, the Nine of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. Surrender to receive, action leads to success, destiny path. Your first three oracles were magic mushroom, stay open to the good and beautiful things. We have the Voyager, it's okay to forget and then remember all over again. We have blessings and curses. Psyche, self-love, beauty. It says, do not be ashamed, not of your thorns or of your flowers. Okay, so first, the messages that are coming through are about your journey so far, like in your life, because in tarot we have the Nine of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, and earlier I kind of read them out, but we got the Seven of Wands, Justice, Judgment, and the Tower. So I wanted to get three of each to align with one another, but they wanted us to have four, so four for the last row, and that's fine. So with this energy of the Nine of Pentacles being at the bottom of the deck and our animal apothecary cards being surrender to receive, the Otter, action leads to success, and then destiny path, I feel as though you are someone who is on a journey of learning to allow herself to be taken care of. This is the energy of a woman who has had to be really independent. Okay, this is the energy of a woman who has become hyper independent as a consequence of her life experience. It's like you couldn't rely on people, you couldn't trust that people were going to do things for you. This is it's kind of giving me like a Matilda kind of energy. I'm seeing someone who, like, you couldn't trust your parents to do what they said that they were going to do. You could not have an experience where you could leave things up to chance, because if you left things up to chance, then you weren't going to get what you wanted and desired. You were taught from a very young age that in order to succeed in life, in order to get what you wanted, you had to be the person to fight for what you wanted. It wasn't enough to say, I really want this doll and I like this doll so much and I really want it for Christmas. You had to tell your parents every single day. You had to beg your parents. You had to bring it up over and over and over again, and then you would get the doll, or you might not even get the doll. And so as a consequence of this, you grew up into this woman who is very independent. This is my pile of women who are very financially independent. If you're not financially wealthy yet, you obviously will be financially wealthy regardless. You are someone whose finances get taken care of. In other words, the bills always get paid. If you want to go on a vacation, you're the person that's paying for the vacation. You're the person that's paying for the flights. You're the person, it's very independent, okay? So you're this really, really independent woman, and it wasn't born because you were growing up in an environment that fostered and helped you build self esteem. It was born out of necessity. If nobody else, if I don't fight for myself, if I don't show up for myself, then I'm not going to get what I want. Then I'm not going to be happy in my life because nobody is going to take care of me. And so this surrender to receive card, it is a little fucking otter, and it like makes me want to cry because it's this little otter and he has this little stick. This is the Animal Apothecary deck. So if you have it and you know what I'm talking about, great. If you want to Google it, fine. But it's this little otter and he's like floating in the ocean, and he's like floating on his back, and he's got this like twig, and there's like a white flag, you know what I mean, on the end of the twig, and the white flag says surrender to receive, and this otter has like tears that are like running down his face. Okay, this otter is waving the white flag. This otter is like, I need help. And so I feel like something that you're learning, something that it is your destiny to learn in love and romance and in relationships, is that you can trust and rely on other people. You don't have to do everything yourself. I'm also getting the energy of a woman who is like a single mother. Okay, so somebody here, it is your destiny. You're going to have a relationship with a man who shows up for you and takes care of you and helps and supports you, like with your children as well, with this energy of surrender to receive. It's like you are on a journey of learning to surrender, and it's not just, I don't really love the way that a lot of the spiritual community talks about surrender because it's very lazy and spiritual bypassy. It's not true that if God wants good things to happen for you, if you just let everything go, then you'll get good things. That's not true, because the hundreds of people that were enslaved over generations, it's not true that that was their destiny, right? It's not true that that's what they were made for. It's not true that that's what they were created for. It's not true that that was the only thing that was available to them, right? And if God wanted more for them, then he would have done XYZ different thing. That's not true. The truth is that we all have the potential to seek out more. We all have the potential to create more for ourselves. And sometimes we are living in terrible life experiences. We have challenging childhood experiences. We have certain conditionings. People communicate to us directly and indirectly that we can't trust the world, that we can't have good things, that we can't be taken care of. And of course, we believe that. And when we believe that, when we internalize those experiences, that can impact our willingness to go after our dreams, our willingness to fight for our freedom, whether it's our financial freedom or our ability to have a loving relationship where we're taken care of. So when we're having a conversation about surrendering to receive, surrendering and giving something to God only works if you have the belief system and you have the faith to back it up. If you say, I'm just going to give it to God, but you don't actually believe that God has the power to move shit around in your favor, you're going to stay where you are. Because you have power in your life, because your belief has power in your life. If you say, I'm going to surrender and I'm going to give it to God, but you don't actually believe that a man out there could love you and could show up for you, you're going to stay where you are. And then you're going to get mad at God, but it's not on God exclusively, right? It's on you. Because you have power, because you have a say. And so I'm never going to be that spiritual teacher or leader that is telling you you have to surrender and you have to give things up to the higher power, because that's not true. This life is very active. We have, after the surrender to receive card, we have action leads to success. This physical reality is like a fucking 3D virtual reality game. If you're playing a video game and you decide to just stop moving around the controllers, that's not going to put you in a position to win the game. You have to participate in life. You can't just give up your free will and your power to quote unquote God. That's not how it works. God is willing to assist you. God is willing to support you. God is willing to guide you to resources. God is willing to guide you to help. When you pray for help and you pray for support, and God answers your prayers, God doesn't typically answer your prayer in maybe the way that you would think. You're sending out a prayer to God for money, for example. God might not answer that prayer by helping you win the lottery, even though there are people who do manifest winning the lottery and all the time, like, whatever. That's a thing. I'm not going to say that's not a thing. But when you're praying and asking for help, and when you're asking for wealth and you're asking for all of that stuff, God might not respond by giving you the lottery win. God might not respond by plopping a bag full of hundreds of thousands of dollars on the sidewalk that you run into while you're walking down the street. But God is going to give you the idea for an amazing business. God is going to give you the amazing idea for a best-selling book. God is going to give you the idea for blah, 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 blah. You're praying for a relationship. You're praying for a good man. You're praying for this and this and this. God is going to give you the idea of going to your local gym or going to your local bar or going to your local park or going to your local beach. And that's where you're going to meet your person. God is going to give you the idea. Some of you, God has been giving you the inspired action to do certain shit. And you're like, God, I don't want to go to the beach and color in my coloring book. I want my husband. I don't want to do this. I want that. And God is like, you're not listening to me. If you follow your inspired action, you would see, you would know, you would understand that you're going to go down to the beach and then you're going to be coloring on the fucking sand. And then I'm going to create a big ass fucking gust of wind. And then your paper is going to blow down the beach. You're going to get up. You're going to chase that paper because you've been working on that shit for like 30 minutes and you got to see it through. And also you don't want to litter on the beach. So you're going to get up, you're going to go chasing after that paper. There's going to be a hot, sexy man, the man that I created for you, that is on the other side of that beach. He's going to see that paper because he's a good-hearted human being. He's going to pick up that paper. And then there you are chasing after that paper and you chase that paper, which leads to him. Bada bing, bada boom. They're like match made in heaven. Plentyoffish.com. Come on now. Literally, because it's the beach. You know what I mean? So it's like action leads to success. Pile number 1. Have you or have you not been throwing a couple pity parties? You don't have to admit it in the comment section, but it would support you if you were willing to admit it to yourself. Have you been having moments where you're wallowing in your own singleness or wallowing in being rejected or wallowing in being discontent, wallowing in being unhappy, wallowing in being hurt, wallowing and focusing and harping and ruminating on the pain of the past? Ruminating and ranting is not the same as processing. How do I know if I'm just ranting or if I'm processing? When you're done processing, you feel better. When you're done ranting, you don't feel better. You can talk about it again and again and again and again. You can talk about it for hours and hours and hours and hours. You still feel like shit. And then you go to the next person and you tell them the same story and you talk about it for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and you still feel like shit. You're not processing, you're ranting, you're ruminating, you're relishing. Processing your emotions and feelings is a skill. And it's a skill that you really need to develop, or it's a skill that you need to bring back deliberately into your practice, into your mindset practice. Your oracle card says stay open to the good and beautiful things. It's okay to forget and then remember all over again. As a consequence of your childhood experience, as a consequence of the generational patterns and traumas that you were born into, the things that you inherited, you forgot that you were lovable. You forgot that you were supported. You forgot that you were shown up for. You forgot. They're singing this gospel song. And it says he has the whole world in his hands. Pile number one, you're not walking around this earth as if you have access to the Most High God that knows all of the 7, 8, whatever, however many billion people there are on this planet. You get so caught up in what you don't have, in what you don't see, in who didn't show up. The reason that you're so caught up in that is because you're still telling the story that you're abandonable. You're still telling the story that people don't show up for you. You're still telling the story that you're not loved. The stories that you started telling when you were 5 years old, you're still telling those stories. Those versions of you are still in pain. You have to heal that. Time doesn't heal that. Action leads to success. It's okay to forget and then remember all over again. It's okay that you forgot who you were and whose you were. And now is the time for you to remember. Now is the time for you to remind yourself. Now is the time for you to be open. How often are you having how often are you having that conversation with God? I do things differently in my own spiritual practice. There's conversations that I have with my ancestors. There's conversations that I have with my spirit guides. Then there's conversations that I have with God. There's conversations that I have with other entities on my spiritual court, whatever. How often are you having that conversation with the creator of all things? With your own higher self? Asking who you are and what you were created for. Because if you were having those conversations the way that you need to be having those conversations, then you would know that you were made to be loved and you were born to be taken care of. And they're saying the thing about having conversations with God is that God answers all the time. And we don't all have to be clairaudient, even though some of us are. We don't have to all be claircognizant or clairvoyant, even though some of us are. You have a conversation with God and you pray and you ask for help and you ask for support. And then there are signs. Signs that God is listening, signs that God is there, signs that God is available. I recently had a moment in a soulmate relationship that I just can't even talk about right now. And I did a reading on what's coming next in love. And one of the songs that I channeled was Slow Down by Bobby V. And then I went to the gym and I have this thing where now when I experience heartbreak or loss in like romance, I don't really do the sad songs thing. I cry, I process and all of that, but I don't do the sad songs thing because I don't relish in it. And so I was having this moment of like, why the fuck does my Spotify keep playing these sad ass songs? Like, let's move on, come on. And I was in this workout class and it was time for us to stretch. And when we stretch, the song usually goes like, more slow. It's time to cool down. Like we're chilling. And first the song came through, which was a song, it came like random on shuffle. It was a song by Alicia Keys. And it's this fucking sad ass motherfucking song. And we're all stretching. And in my mind, I'm like, God, no, please. I cannot do this. I will break down in the middle of this fucking class. Like, let's not even, like, please, no. And my instructor gets up and is like, no, this isn't the vibe. And so she skips to the next song. And the next song is Slow Down by Bobby V. Thank you, God. And so I'm like, first of all, the irony of this song playing in a class when I just mentioned it like a day ago in a reading. And when I was channeling it, I was talking about being in the gym. Like, I love the synchronicity. Thanks, God. Also, thank you, God, that song did not continue to play because I would not have made it through. That's also communication from God. That's also communication from God. The other day, I was out in my pool and I saw these birds, the way that they were flying in a line. It was like really, really beautiful. It was like some synchronized swimming shit. That was so beautiful. Sign from God. And then as I'm in the pool, having these moments, having these conversations, this and this and this happens. A bird swoops down while I'm in the pool. Sign from my ancestors. That was something else totally different, but it doesn't matter. The point is that God is constantly communicating to you. And it's about building that relationship where you're willing to see the signs and see the communication that is constantly available to you, of God constantly communicating to you that I see you and I care for you and I love you and I got your back. We have action leads to success. Destiny path. As you take action to love yourself by healing yourself, love yourself by healing those wounds of the past, you are given the opportunity to see the things that God is constantly lining up for you. Some of y'all are not seeing the opportunities that God is lining up for you. There's men passing you all the time. That could be the one. You see a man, you're like, he was fine. You see a man, you think something. Some of you don't even see them. Because you're not telling the story that you could be loved. Of course, it's your destiny to have a relationship that breaks down, that supports you in breaking down. Those stories and those painful experiences of your past. Of course you get to have this. But you don't see the opportunities that are in front of you. Some of you are telling the story that the opportunity can't be in front of you. Because I'm going to meet my man in the city. I'm going to meet my man in this place. I'm going to meet my man when I go to this place and I have this experience. And it's like, okay, fine. If you're not living that experience now, if you don't have that experience now, then what are you also saying? I can't have love now. I can't have my man now. So then you have two options. Either you're going to be willing to change your preference, or you're going to accept that you can't have love now. Let me give you several examples. I'm going to have my man when I weigh 30 pounds less. Okay, so you're telling the story, I can't have love right now. And either you're going to accept that you don't get love right now, or you're going to change that thought in your mind that's saying you have to lose 30 pounds before you can have love. The choice is yours. Action leads to success. If you're saying, I can't have love because the city that I live in is ghetto and there's nobody here for me, and I can only have love when I move, or I can only have love when I travel to a big city, or I can only have love when I travel to the country, or I can only have love when I travel to another country, fine. Then accept that you're closed off to love where you are, and wait until the next time you travel, and wait until you move, and wait until blah, blah, blah. Or you deliberately decide to change that thought. The message that's coming through from Spirit is that you have to take your power back. I say this a million times. You are coming from a place of powerlessness every single time you click on a reading, or you buy a reading, or you ask somebody else, what do I get to have? What am I allowed to have? That's the wrong question. The question is, what do you want? What do you desire? What is your dream? Because that's your destiny. The Seven of Wands is a card of courage. It's also a card of knocking down your own pride and knocking down your own ego. Some of you are in the energy telling the story that you don't need a man. You don't need love. But that's not true. Nobody said you were going to die if you were single. Nobody said you weren't going to be able to function if you were single. But would being in a relationship bring even more emotional fulfillment into your life? Of course it would. Would having a man who shows up for you and has integrity and is a man of his word and who is trustworthy, would that enhance the emotional fulfillment of your life? Of course. Having someone that you can trust and rely on to take care of you and to show up for you and your family, if God forbid something happened to you, would that not increase the quality of your life? Of course it would. Nobody is saying that you're going to die if you're single another year. We're not having a conversation about life or death. We're having a conversation about your happiness and the quality of your life. And some of you really need to admit to yourself that the quality of your life would improve if you were being loved. Some of you need to admit that you want that. And it's not just, oh, I say it all the time. Oh, I watch tarot readings on it. It's not about what you say. It's about your energy. And you have to be self-aware. I see people and clients all the live long day who swear that they're doing it all, who swear that they have it all figured out and all together. I am doing it. I am. Okay, fabulous. You have to practice self-awareness because there's a part of you that doesn't believe it at all. There's a part of you that doesn't expect to be taken care of. There's a part of you that doesn't expect to be loved. There's a part of you that doesn't expect to be chosen. There's a part of you that doesn't believe that men are reliable. You have to acknowledge that. You have to deal with that. You have to take action on that. Because your subconscious beliefs are impacting your perception of the world. With your current subconscious beliefs that say men are untrustworthy, men are unreliable, men are whatever, men don't choose you, men don't want you. You don't see, you don't pay attention to the eligible men every single day that are checking you out. The eligible men every single day that are showing you gestures, that are dropping hints and conversations, waiting for you to pick them up and express that interest back. But then you go home and you watch a tarot reading and you say, where's my husband? There was one with great potential earlier today at the supermarket, but you walked right past him. You couldn't see him. They're literally showing me a woman walking throughout the fucking world. There's a guy with potential. There's a guy with potential. There's a guy with potential. It's like they're lighting up in front of you. You don't see them. You can't see them. You don't have the capacity to see them. Because you're telling the story, I'm not lovable. You're telling the story, I'm not chosen. You're telling the story, I'm abandoned. So the guys that you do see are the guys who abandon. The guys who don't choose you. The guys who don't show up. That's who you see. Action leads to success. It is your destiny to be in a relationship with a man who sees you and accepts you. It is your destiny to be in a relationship with a man who takes care of you. I'm going to pull just a couple more tarot cards because I want to get into that. And then the other two piles cannot be as long as pile number one. So just don't tell them anything. God, what is your promise? 9 of Swords. 7 of Cups. What is your promise? Oh my God, we got the Tower again. King of Swords. Okay. 9 of Swords, 7 of Cups, the Tower, and the King of Swords. God's promise to you in your romantic life is that the 9 of Swords is the card of being stressed and worried and anxious over nothing. And it's not that your emotions and feelings are invalid. It's that you're having an experience and you're telling the story that you don't get love and da-da-da-da-da. God's message is that it's not true. God's message is that you are crying yourself to sleep over an illusion. The lie that you're not good enough, the lie that you won't be chosen, the lie that there's not love available to you, the lie that you don't get to have the kind of guy that you want. These are all illusions. These are all lies. Literally, with the 7 of Cups and the Tower. God's promise to you is when you break those illusions, we have the Tower twice. That means your life, your self-concept, your self-perception as a consequence of your lived experience has been built on a lie. The lie that you don't get to be loved. The lie that you don't get to be shown up for. The lie that you can't trust others. And that it's your fault. It's not true. So when you shatter those illusions, you break down that self-concept, you break down your self-perception, you will make way for King of Swords, an honest man. Tell me more. And then we have the Queen of Cups. Wheel of Fortune, Ace of Cups, Six of Cups, Two of Cups, Three of Cups. Okay. You will make way for an honest man who basically walks it like he talks it. Someone who is mature. Someone who has gone through certain transformations that are needed in order to be with a woman like yourself who probably needs communication, needs words of affirmation. Okay, Pile 1? Sorry we didn't get further into the characteristics. This is what you needed to hear. So I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, give me like some blue emojis in the comment section, and hopefully the other readings are a little bit more straightforward. And I'm about to set like a timer for myself for the other readings because that was way too fucking long. Even though it was really beautiful, it was just way too fucking long. Okay, let's see what's going on in the live chat. Sakura's doing great. You're welcome. I hope you're having an amazing time as always. I'm having a pretty good day. Thank you. Bunny says, ciao. Hi, my love. I'm excited to catch this live. I hope you're feeling more rejuvenated. I had a pretty good day. I'm probably going to I'm probably going to color and then put myself to sleep after this live. So I will be feeling rejuvenated tomorrow. I got to go to yoga in the morning for sure. Hi, Peachy Blossom. It's been forever since we've talked. How are you, my love? Peachy Blossom says, hi, excited to catch another live. Yeah, I hope that you're enjoying it. Hi, honey, 411-2002. Hi. I need a little guidance. I've been seeing 1212 a lot. Well, I hope that that reading gave you some guidance. Hi, Poetic. Oh my God, I'm so happy to see you here. Everyone go click on Poetic's profile and go subscribe to her channel. Waiting for pile 3. Excited to listen. I hope that it's good and I hope that it resonates with you. Thank you for clicking onto the live and chatting. I appreciate that. Okay. We're going to speed through this. Well, we're not going to rush through it, but we're going to do it to it. Okay, guys? All right, let's move on to pile number 2. Just got to get my everything ready. All right. Hello, pile number 2. We are tapping into messages from God surrounding your destiny and your fate in relationships. What do you need to hear about your romantic destiny today? Okay. First, we're going to start off with the tarot. And I think we need to pull less cards. Maybe that will convince me to spend less time. Okay. So we have the Two of Swords and the Fool. God's promise for you in romance is connected to your intuition and connected to your self-trust. I feel like, because for me, the Two of Swords is a card of heart chakra blockages. So I feel like your heart chakra has experienced, of course, some pain, some heartbreak, some heartache, different things like that. A part of you is not actually open to love. Okay? A part of you is not actually open to love. I said this in pile number 1. I'm going to say it again. You have to be self-aware. And when I say self-aware, I mean aware of your emotions and aware of your feelings. That requires radical honesty with self. And identifying your feelings and emotions is a skill. Ideally, it is a skill that you develop in childhood. But we all know that most of the adults walking around planet Earth did not develop this skill. And so it is your responsibility as a grown-up now to develop this incredibly important skill. And it's important for you to develop and practice the skill of identifying how you feel, because when you do, you will come to an awareness of the fact that a part of you feels closed off, scared, and guarded in love. My God. Everybody who is choosing pile number 2 and pile number 1, I forgot to say it, you guys need to be in the Love After Loss course. Like, what are you doing? Because this is everything that we talk about in the freaking program. You're closed off and you're guarded. I don't care if you're going on dates. I don't care if you're seeing people. I don't care if you're talking to people. I don't care if you're on the dating apps. This is what I'm seeing. Being closed off to love doesn't necessarily have to be what it looks like you are, but it's about how you feel. It's about the fact that you are protecting yourself from heartbreak and from heartache. Protecting yourself and not actually opening up and being vulnerable. Love is vulnerable. We have the Fool card. The Fool is foolish. The Fool is vulnerable. The Fool is dancing on the edge of a cliff or jumping off the edge of this cliff with no safety net at the bottom. It's a leap of faith. No parachute, no equipment. I'm not telling anybody to go and do this. In real life, it's just a metaphor. You want to actually have the love that you want and desire. The love that you are destined for requires vulnerability. Vulnerability implies that you might get hurt. This is about your relationship with your emotions. You might think that somebody is the one, and then they hurt you deeply. And that would suck. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not saying it's guaranteed to happen. I'm saying, sure, it's a possibility. I live in California. It's a possibility that the huge big one earthquake that splits my state in half and sends half of the state into the ocean could happen any second now. It's a possibility that there could be an earthquake right now. God, please don't let there be an earthquake right now, because that would really undermine the point that I'm making. The point is that I know, and the millions of people that live in California know about the potential of earthquakes and tsunamis and da 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 da. I am not recording this underneath my desk. I am not living my life fearing the worst. But in your romantic relationship, you are. In romance and connection, that's what you're doing. How would you feel if every single day, at the beginning of every single pile, I said, did you guys know that the big one is coming? Don't know when, but I think it's going to be today. Could be today. It's not 0% chance that it could be today. That would make you fucking anxious. That would make you worried. That would make you feel unsafe. That would start to make you feel paranoid. That is negatively impacting the quality of your life. That's what you're doing. Not about an earthquake, not about a natural disaster, but in your romantic relationships. What if this is the day that he doesn't text me back? What if this is the day that he cheats on me? What if this is the day that he doesn't choose me? What if this is the day that he doesn't show up? What if this is another day that I don't meet the one? What if this is another day that I don't meet my soulmate? What if this is another day of blah da 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 da? What if this is the moment? What if this is the big one? You are walking around in survival mode. You are not open to love. Your heart is not open to love because the love that you are destined for, it requires vulnerability. There's a price. All relationships come with a price. What are you willing to give? What are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to let go of? Being in a relationship with another human being, feeling the amount of depth and intimacy and closeness that you want to feel, you're risking heartbreak. I said this in another pile recently. You can handle disappointment. You can handle heartbreak. Even you, oh my God, I'm so empathic. I feel everything. You can handle feelings. They're saying that popular phrase. God doesn't give you more than you can handle. Having that sensitivity and having your heart is such a gift. I spent so much of my life not feeling because I was neglected and blah, blah, blah. And there was so much pain that was going on in my life. I spent so much of my life not feeling. And then I had a moment, not just one moment, but several moments where I was feeling hope and excitement. And I moved to New York City for college, and oh my God, I felt so good every single day. I felt blessed. And the next year I started like my spiritual awakening and all this shit. And I was feeling so much joy and so much happiness that I could feel love radiating throughout my chest. Have you ever felt that, pile number 2? When you feel so good, it feels like your chest is glowing. I felt that a couple times in my life. It feels so good. It is love. It is alignment with source energy. And terrible things happened at my college. And I left. And it was deeply traumatizing to me. It really hurt. I did not have the tools to process it when it happened. But those moments of goodness, Had I not been allowing myself to feel more and more, I would not have been able to relish in those moments of goodness. Your heart is closed off and you're protecting yourself from heartache, but really you're just desensitizing yourself, numbing yourself, and you're robbing yourself of what it means to be alive. Sometimes shit hurts. Sometimes we end relationships. Sometimes people break up. Sometimes people betray us. It hurts. I get that. I understand that. I cry every other reading on this fucking channel, every other pile. I understand. And also, feeling your emotions, processing your emotions is a skill that you must develop. And it's a skill that you want to develop because when you can process your emotions, negative emotions stop being a threat. Breaking up stops being a threat. The relationship not working out stops being a threat. Because would I be devastated if I didn't get this relationship that I wanted really bad? Yes. Yes, I would. But I can handle devastation. I can process devastation. I can move through devastation. I can feel, and I have a relationship with myself, the way that I nurture myself, the way that I love myself, the way that I have a connection with my ancestors and they nurture me and they take care of me, the way that I have a connection with God and he nurtures me and takes care of me. I've been spending not a lot of time, especially not like today, but I spent some time the past couple of days this week crying. And at no point did I feel alone or like the world was ending. You know, back during the incident, when I felt like I wasn't going to get that guy, it felt like I'll never be loved again. And that made it even worse. That's something that makes you want to cry and never stop crying. I mean, the idea of never being loved, wow. But today, as the leader of my mind, I can cry and I can mourn because I have a desire and a dream and something that I want to happen and something that feels so beautiful and something that feels so real and so magical. And I can cry because something that I desired and a path that I wanted to walk down isn't happening. I can mourn that. But at the end of the day, I know that I get to be loved. At the end of the day, I know that if it's not this amazing man who stands before me, it's going to be somebody better. Because at the end of the day, one man's behavior and choices do not decide or determine what I get to be or what I get to have. I love saying this, so I'm going to say it again. Other people only have so many choices. Other people only have so much control. They get to decide whether or not they're going to be the guy. He gets to decide whether or not he is going to be the husband. He does not get to decide whether or not there will be a wedding. He gets to decide whether or not he will be the lucky man to spend the rest of his life with a woman so gorgeous and amazing and loving and caring and generous and brilliant and creative as yourself. He doesn't decide whether or not you get to spend the rest of your life in a happy relationship. The message that's coming through for you is that, of course, it is God's promise for you to be loved. But you don't need me to tell you that it's God's promise for you to be loved. You don't need me to tell you that it's God's promise for you to be in an amazing relationship. You needed to be reminded that you're the woman who ultimately decides that. Are you going to do the work to open your heart? Are you going to choose to be willing to be vulnerable? Are you going to develop a relationship with your emotions where they don't control you? Because right now, fear is controlling you. Right now, the potential of emotional pain is controlling you. And you're living under the illusion that it's keeping you safe and sheltered, but it's not. It's keeping you alone and unhappy. So, what are you going to do? With the energy of the Fool, the message that's coming through is that the relationship that you are destined to, they're saying the phrase reckless abandon. Oh my God, this is silly. Listen to what I'm about to say and then don't forget, keep listening, okay? Follow me. They're saying you were meant to love recklessly. And I don't mean being reckless with your body and your physical health and your sexual health. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about that. But I see you in this relationship with this man, and you are open. Your heart is open. Your chest is radiating. You are called to have the kind of relationship, the kind of like feeling of love that people write movies about, that people write books about, that people aspire to have. You are meant to feel this love that is so deep and so true. Have you ever, let me explain. Let me find a really good example for this. Do you know when you love a baby? This is a really good example. Do you know when you have a baby that you love, and this baby that you love, you see, and you're going to a place to see a baby that you love, and you're so excited because you're going to get to see this baby that you love. I'm talking about a real, like a baby, an infant. And so you walk into the house, you walk into the building, and then you see this baby that you love, and the baby turns and the baby sees you, and their face lights up, and then your heart just explodes into a million pieces. Because look at this adorable, amazing child creation of God. This bundle of nothing but love and joy and hope and positive potential. And they like me. They love being around me. They want to play with me. The other day, one of my favorite babies in the whole world, this little boy, he's a Leo. I just went to his birthday party like last month at Chuck E. Cheese. And he's like talking in like full sentences now. Shit is crazy. So he came over and his mom was like doing some stuff around our house. And he's like in his stroller, he's buckled in. And he needs to be freed. So I'm I wake up. I don't even know that they're here. Nobody ever tells me anything. So I wake up, I'm using the bathroom, and then I hear other people in the house. I'm like, excuse me, who the hell is here? Because, you know, like the baby has a dad, and if his dad's here doing like technical shit, then I have to go put some pants on. So I'm like, who's here? And, you know, it's like, it's just the mom and the baby. I'm like, okay, cool. So I go into the living room where they are, and I'm like saying like, you know, hi to everybody, saying hi to the baby. And the baby's looking at me, and he starts tugging on his like buckle strap. You know what I mean? He's like, sister, please let me the hell out of here. I need to be freed. And I'm like, oh, like, why is he in the stroller? Blah, blah, blah. And his mom's like, no, like, he needs to, like, stay in there. He can't be running around, blah, blah. I'm like, okay. And then he keeps, like, tugging on his thing. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't. Your mom said no. And then his mom's like, if you will watch him, then you can, like, take him out of the thing. And so, of course, I unbuckled him, whatever. And then he ran all over the house, and I have a million stories. But anyway, when it was time to leave, he was really upset. And his mom was like, I knew this was going to happen. And so he's like refusing to put his shoes on. I'm trying to put his little freaking slides back on. We're now on the floor from the couch. And he's like fucking rolling on the floor. Like, you know, fucking alligators or crocodiles. I think it's alligators. The animals that like bite you and they like fucking roll to like turn your arm off. I'm trying to put his shoe on and he's literally rolling on the floor, screaming because he doesn't want to put his shoe on. He doesn't want to leave, which is like so heartbreaking. And I'm just like, damn, you really fuck with me. And I get that. So what's the point? The point is, that's the kind of, yes, exactly that. You are destined for a love with a man that when it's time to go, you're going to be putting on his shoes. And he's going to be rolling around the floor, throwing a temper tantrum. No, not that part. Not that part. But the part where you have that kind of pure love. That kind of pure love where every single time that you know that you're going to get to see this person, you walk into the room and automatically you're scanning, you're looking for them. When they walk into the room, automatically they're scanning and they're looking for you. You walk into a room, you see him, his face is lighting up. He's so happy to see you because you're like the light of his fucking life. And he hates to be apart from you because the two of you have such an amazing time together, even when you're not doing anything, because you just love his presence and he just loves your presence. That is your destiny. The way that he is going to make you feel. Joy overflowing in your heart. So much joy that it can make you cry. That is the love that you have been created to experience. Having fun and playing and being free. And of course, it happens with a man that is trustworthy and all of these things. But you don't get that man by being defensive and armored up. Not because you have to drop your defenses in order to earn him, but because you're not a vibrational match. When you're telling the story that it's not safe to love, when you're telling the story that it's not safe to be in connection, you're not a vibrational match for the guy that stays. You're not a vibrational match for the guy that has integrity. You're not a vibrational match for the guy that's going to love you. You're not a vibrational match for the guy that's emotionally available. Because you're telling the story that men don't have integrity. You're telling the story that men are emotionally unavailable. You're telling the story that men don't show up. You're telling the story that sometimes men leave. The problem isn't that you want to protect yourself. The problem is the stories that you're telling that cause you to want to protect yourself. that, no, not want to protect yourself, because of course you want to do that. We all want to do that. But the problem is the stories that you're telling that make you believe that you have to protect yourself, because it's not necessarily true. Now I'm going to share one more story, and then maybe we'll pull one more card, and then we'll be done. This is a story of two women with two different perspectives who are telling two different stories about men, okay? This is maybe like a couple months ago. I was at the gym, and I have a kind of friend that I know, and she, I guess, yeah, we can call her my friend. And we were walking out together, and I'm pretty sure she was going to give me a ride home, this is someone we just met, and we were walking out of the gym, and there was this man, and he was kind of walking out a little bit ahead of us, and he turned, and he was looking at us, but he was looking at us for a really long time, okay? He turned around, and he was staring at us. And at first I was like, I don't know which one of us he's staring at, but thank you, I'm very flattered. And I'm thinking, maybe he's looking at her, maybe he knows her, whatever. I'm just flattered, Men stare at me, I'm beautiful, I'm desirable. Hello. And she was like, do you know him? And I was like, no, I don't know him. And she was like, why was he staring like that? I hate when people stare like that. And, which is not a crime. Everybody gets to have their own preferences, whatever. But for all intents and purposes of the messages in this reading, is very interesting, because we're clearly telling two different stories about men. When men stare at me, he wasn't frowning or anything like that. I didn't feel threatened. I didn't feel unsafe. I didn't feel anything. It felt very obvious that he was looking because he was attracted to one of us, both of us. I don't really give a damn. Thank you very much. I agree. I'm very beautiful. And I'm not going to say what story she's telling. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. But whatever story she was telling inspired her to respond with anger and defensiveness. This man didn't say a word to us. He wasn't waiting for us in the parking lot or anything like that. But her perception, which is being created by her subconscious beliefs, caused her to perceive that look as a potential threat. My perception, which is created by my subconscious beliefs, caused me to interpret that same man, that same facial expression, that same everything, as an expression of attraction and desire, and I found it to be flattering. So it's not that you don't get to have this amazing love because you're not good enough and blah, 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 blah. It's because right now you're telling stories. You are living in a reality where your perception is being created by the beliefs that it's not safe to love. Now they're singing the song How to Love by Lil Wayne. You had a lot of crooks try to steal your heart. Something, 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 could never figure out how to love. I don't know the song, girl, but maybe you need to go listen to it. Let's get one more card, and then we're going to close out pile number 2's reading. Nourishment while waiting, shake, release, heal, and illusion. Exactly. And that's what I told her. And at the bottom of the deck, we have prayer answered. These cards keep coming out, you guys. This deck has 70 freaking cards. And I swear, I feel like we keep getting the same ones. Okay, anyway. Nourishment while waiting, shake, release, heal, move on, and illusion. You have some illusions about men and relationships and what's available to you that have got to be dismantled right now. Because you deserve to be taken care of, and you deserve to be happy, and you deserve to be in a relationship with a man that sees the potential for love and happiness and forever with you, who wants to go on that journey with you. The nourishment while waiting card is a baby hawk. And that's just giving me journey, because we have the Fool. So we have two cards that are signifying like the beginning of love. You gotta heal so much that you can get back to that inner child. That version of you that was loving openly and vulnerably before you had that first heartbreak. That version of you that was so excited. What's that song by Miley Cyrus? See You Again? Is that the song? What's that song? No, it's not See You Again. It's that other song where she says, sometimes I walk a little faster in the school hallway just to get next to you. Some days I spend a little extra time in the morning just to impress you. Guess you don't notice. Guess you don't. Something, you're not seeing what you're missing. On the outside, shying away. On the inside, dying to say. I'm unusual, not so typical, way too smart to be waiting around. Something. I might even be a rock star. The song is Rock Star, okay? By Hannah Montana. Go listen to it. Go get tuned in, tapped in, turned on to that inner child. To the version of you that was loving for the very first time. Because the relationship that I see being available to you is one where it is like 2 5-year-olds getting married on the playground, but also you have the emotional capacity, of course, to be adults and, handle adult things. But emotionally, it's very much a big focus on play and silliness and joking and being open-hearted and freeing. Will you be my girlfriend? Check yes or no. That's the kind of love that is available to you. And that thought in your mind that says, that'll never happen. That's not available. Guys don't do that. That's called a limiting belief. And that's what has to be shifted. Because if you believe you'll never have that, guys don't do that, that's not available to you, then you'll be right. Because your subconscious mind will always become true. Your subconscious mind will make some shit true. Your subconscious mind will search for ways to make what you're telling yourself come true. My subconscious mind is telling the story that men like me, that men think that I'm sexy, that men want me. Everywhere I go, I see it. My subconscious mind points it out for me. Do you see what he just said to you? Do you see how that guy checked you out? Do you see how that happened? Did you notice how that happened? Did you notice how that guy made eye contact with you when you walked past him? I did. Do you see that guy staring at you? Yes. I have to tell you guys a story of what happened in my Uber another time. We don't have time. Divas, we must stay focused. But I have to tell you the story about this guy that was driving my Uber, who goes to my gym, who... Anyway, focus. Another time. What's the point? The point is that you deserve to live like a kid. Love like a kid. And this is like a pure love, not something that's focused on the physical. Not something that's focused on XCS. I'm not saying you won't have XCS. I'm not saying you won't have amazing XCS. Mind-blowing XCS is available to you always. Some of you are more open and willing to give XCS than you are open and willing to give your heart. And that's a problem. Well, that's something that's not supporting you and having this amazing relationship where you feel fulfilled and seen and loved. Okay. So, what do I want to say? I want to tell you to check out the Love After Loss course because it's fucking amazing. It's literally made to help you process your emotions and tell new stories about men and become a vibrational match to men that show up for you and take care of you. And of course, as a consequence of doing that work and telling the story that you get to be loved, you attract the love of your life. But it's about healing. It's about opening up to love after loss, reconnecting with that hope, and no longer walking around the world being afraid of heartbreak and betrayal. You don't want it. You're not asking for it. You're not begging for it. Of course not. But you're not afraid of it. And when you're not afraid of it, you're free. At the bottom of the deck, we have prayer answered. God's promise is that your prayers for an amazing, pure love, like a love, it is available. And he is willing to guide that towards you and to bring that into your life. Are you willing to heal and shift and be open and let it in? That's the $1 million question. Okay, pile number 2. So, if you want to check out the course, you can check out my digital journals that can help you start scripting and tapping into the energy and embodying the version of yourself in her dream relationship. You can find all of that shit in the description box. I suggest you check it out. Obviously, I like it. It's helped me transform my relationship with men, and I'm still working on the soulmate part, and that's okay. So if you want to work on it with me and you want to learn the tools that I've developed with my emotions and my mindset, you know where to find it. All right, I love you guys. Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe on your way to those amazing resources. And let's move on to pile number 3. Just kidding. We can check out any comments. Hi, Croissant. How are you? Even I'm excited for pile 2 and 3. Yeah, I hope you liked pile 2. Shakura says, I need to focus on my intuition and heart chakra. Definitely. 100%. Thanks for the guidance. You are so welcome. And yeah, what you were saying about the angel numbers earlier, I'm not really an angel number expert, so I don't really have anything to say about them, but you can look up the meanings, of course. But for me, angel numbers are always confirmation that you're on the right track with whatever thought you were just sharing. Like, I just saw the 1 hour, 22 minute, 22 second mark on the replay thing. So for me, that would have been confirmation that what I'm telling you about the angel numbers is correct. You know what I mean? It's the universe communicating with you kind of thing. I can't tell you what it means, you know? Croissant says it literally came in at 101. I love that. All right, my loves, let's move on to pile number 3. Hello, pile number 3. How are you doing, my love? I'm sorry if you just heard me pick up the microphone and move it. I just need 1 second for your timestamp to pop up on the screen so that I can record it. Okay. And then we can get into your reading. So, we're tapping into what is God's promise for your love life. I don't know why I'm seeing somebody doing like a trust fall. Oh my God, we got the nourishment while waiting card again. I'm tired of this deck. Okay. Like, nothing against the deck or anything like that, but just, I hate when you just keep getting the same cards over and over again. Like, all right, diva. All right now. Like, I'm sure that the message is relevant and all this stuff, but I've had enough. Okay. I need some variety in my life. Okay. All right. Talk to me about pile number 3, Spirit. Page of Cups, Ace of Cups. Hearing Spirit. The song Spirit by Beyonce. She says, oh, Spirit. Can you hear it calling? Hold on, I have to move. My leg is asleep. Okay. So far, we got the Page of Pentacles and the Ace of Cups. We're going to grab from a different deck. We have the Eight of Swords and the Empress. It is your destiny to be in a relationship with a man that makes you feel like $1,000,000, okay? It is your destiny to be in a relationship with a man that makes you feel like the Empress. The Empress is the ultimate. The Empress is the queen of all queens, right? She is a combination of all of the queens combined. I feel like you have a wound surrounding like seeing your own value beyond beauty. Seeing your own value beyond beauty. They're talking to me about like societal patterns and structures and the pattern of like just seeing women as beautiful. Women are just a pretty face. Women are just things that you do XES to. You know what I mean? Like Drake has the lyric I hate so bad. And he says something like, she's gonna let me fuck even though it's the first night or something like that. And I think that lyric is so ignorant to me, and it just proves that Drake is really bad at sex. I don't give a damn. I'll say it. I'll put it on the record. It's my hypothesis, and at this point, it's a fucking theory because men that are good in bed don't behave like that. Anyway, oh my god. It's always the perfect time to talk shit about Drake over here. I'm sorry. Anyway, there's this idea and concept. She's gonna let me fuck. She's gonna let me do something to her. XES is not something that we engage with together. XES is not something that I do with a woman. It's something that I do to a woman. She's going to let me do this thing to her. And so there's this objectification of women. Women are just pretty things to look at. Women are just things on my Instagram feed. Women exist for my eyes. Women exist to make me happy. Women exist to excite me. Women don't have their own aspirations. Women are not people. Women are not human beings. Women are not things that we actually get substance from. Women are not things that we receive value from. Women are things that we receive gratification from. Women are things that we use for our own pleasure, and that's it. And so because you've dealt with men like this, or you were raised around men like this, or you grew up in a culture with men like this, or you inherited, trauma from women who experienced men like this, you've got this insecurity around your own sense of value. Because when a man doesn't value you, who you are, and what you bring to the table, then a woman who is younger, a woman who has a BBL booty, no shade to the BBL community, a woman who looks like whatever the popular aesthetic is at the time, he's going to up and leave. He's going to cheat. He's going to do this and this and this, because women are not people to him. Women do not have value to him. But when you're a woman in a relationship with a man who values you, who sees you as a human being, this is not just the woman that I do XES to. This is the woman who supports me and who speaks life into me in my most difficult moments. You are a very beautiful woman, but I highly doubt that you could support me in the way that my wife supports me. And also, so much of who I am as a man, so much of the man that I have become is because of this woman. You don't hold a candle to my wife. My wife is the empress, not because she's the most beautiful woman on planet Earth, even though we know that she is, right? My bitch is better than Rihanna. She's the empress to me. She's the number one to me. Because of our relationship, because of her substance, because of her mind. You look really beautiful, but you don't have the conversation. You don't offer the conversation. You don't offer the intellectual stimulation. You don't offer the mental growth and expansion and challenge that my wife offers to me. You're really pretty, and that's all. When you are the empress to a man, when you are the ultimate to a man, there's nothing that anybody else could do or be or say that could undermine that, or that could get in between that, because nobody else could be who you are to that man. Nobody else could be who you've been to that man. You become irreplaceable. Pile number 3, you are destined to be in a relationship with a man where you are irreplaceable. And in order to allow in this relationship, you have to know that you're valuable. And you have to believe that a man could see you as valuable. And we're all so egotistical, which is normal and human and not a bad thing. But everybody wants to swear up and down, I'm a bad bitch. I know that I'm the baddest bitch. Da, 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 da. That's fine. That's lovely. I believe you. Sure. Whatever. But it would serve you. It would support you. You don't have to do anything. It would serve you and it would support you to be honest with yourself about the part of yourself that doesn't feel the same. Because there's a part of you that's insecure. There's a part of you that feels like no man or the kind of man that you want won't value you. And your value is not in things that other women can do. Your value is not, I will clean up your house. Even though maybe you are the kind of woman that will clean up after a guy. No shame in that. The value is in the fact that you are so thoughtful. That I think when women are in love, maybe I should say you, because that's what I feel. When you are in love, you're very, they just keep showing me like a detail-oriented woman. I think any woman in the world can like pick out a tie. Or, you know, like, why do I want to say dress shoes, slacks, a blazer, a suit, you know what I mean? Like, any woman in the world can do those things. But a woman who really loves you and cares for you is probably going to be having a conversation with herself in her head about, like, the undertones in a man's skin and the right hues and, you know, shades and different things like that. And so they're literally showing me like the same guy in two different outfits. And in one outfit, he stands out more. He looks more authoritative. He looks more empowered. He looks better. But he's got kind of a similar tie in both outfits. He's got a similar thing going on, but in one he just looks better. He just looks more vibrant. And it's because to know someone is to love them. And oh my God, I've channeled this message before, and I feel like I've done it for pile number 3, where it's like, there are women who do things because that's what they quote unquote have to do in order to be married, in order to be wifey material. I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to cook this dinner. I'm going to blah, blah, blah. And it's lovely. But when you really love someone and you really know them and you know what colors they look best in, or you know what their favorite foods are, or because you know what their favorite foods are and you know the things that they think are delicious, you know the kind of dinner that they're most likely to like, and that's the kind of dinner that you cook. You pay attention and you care, and the attention that you pay and the genuine, authentic care that you have and that you give and that you demonstrate, it's kind of 1 in a million. I think pile number 1 with this 8 of Swords, you mistakenly think that everybody loves in the way that you do. They don't. I'm going to say it. The girlies might hate it. I don't give a fuck. Every woman is not a good woman, just like every man is not a good man. And online, that might be a controversial, hot fucking take. Because everything is always supposed to be, I am pro-woman and I am a girl's girl and blah, blah, blah. No, some girls fucking suck. And it's not because they're not good enough or they're not pretty enough or they're not skinny enough or whatever. Some girls fucking suck because they don't have integrity. Some girls fucking suck because they watch videos and read books on how to manipulate men. I'm sorry, I think it's loser behavior. Sorry. Some girls actually suck because they don't care about men or how men feel. Some girls actually suck because they walk around the world saying, I hate men. I hate all men except for my boyfriend. That doesn't work. Like I talk about all the time in my podcast, there is no such thing as compartmentalizing. You hate all men. You actively talk about hating all men. You have this subconscious belief that you hate all men, and you don't think that that behavior and that belief is seeping into your relationship with your boyfriend, with your husband. That's funny. Because we know men that hate women. And we know what happens to women in relationships with men who fucking hate them. It's incredibly dangerous mentally, emotionally, physically, and psychologically. Also, it is incredibly harmful psychologically. Could you imagine being in a relationship with a man who was publicly talking about, I hate all women suck, all women are trash? Not my girl, though. I hate all women except for my girl. Can you imagine? Would that make you feel secure? Some of you, unfortunately, that would make you feel secure. Because if he hates all women except for you, then he's probably not going to cheat on you. But the fact of the matter is, if he's seeing all women as a monolith, he detests women that he hasn't even fucking met. Every single woman that he meets, he has a prejudice against. You think that his assumptions and mistrust and defensiveness towards women is not impacting your relationship? He doesn't have that towards you, not even a little bit? Come on, that would be silly. That would be silly to believe. So no, do I think that all human beings, period, point blank on earth, have value? Absolutely. Do I think that you're going to receive the same love and care from a woman that hates all men as you are a woman who doesn't hate all men? No, I don't think you're going to get the same level of love. I don't think you're going to get the same level of compassion. I don't think you're going to get the same level of care. I don't think you're going to get the same level of understanding, safety, and security. Imagine being in a relationship with somebody who hates you, who hates people like you, and who hates your kind. That person is waiting for you to make a mistake. That person is waiting for you to fuck up. That person is searching for a reason to kick you to the curb, a reason to label you just like the rest. Does that make you feel safe? Does that make you feel safe to be a human being that can be vulnerable, that can fuck up from time to time, because we all do in relationships? Now, I'm not saying somebody should fuck up by abusing you and torturing you and different things like that. But make a mistake, insult somebody, say the wrong thing, act out of their own trauma and their own past. Relationships are complex. And there's a certain level of maturity and being able to have the capacity to hold the complexity of your own emotions that is needed in order to be in and maintain a relationship. So what's the point? Because that was kind of a really amazing 2.5 that we all needed to hear. The point is that you need to come back to, or you need to find an understanding of your value as a woman. Because there's a part of you that is really hoping to be chosen. That's not a crime. We all want to be chosen. We all want to be wanted. We all want to be desired. We all want to be loved. And we get to have that. However, when we want to be chosen because we believe that somebody else choosing us is what determines our value, that's when I have a problem. Those two things are not mutually exclusive. You having value as a woman and you being chosen by a man, that is not something that is mutually exclusive. You have value as a woman because you do, period, point blank. That is something that does not change. What I just described as having value as a woman, that's based off of my own personal values. You don't have to agree. And if you don't agree, don't put it in the comment section, because I'm actually just going to block you. I don't really give a fuck. But your job is to figure out what your beliefs are and what your values are. Why do you consider yourself to be a woman of tremendous value? Why do you see yourself as a woman that men would be lucky to have? Not because of what your friends say, and it can't be because of your degrees. I love you. I know we got some educated baddies in the motherfucking audience, period. We'd love to see it. But that's not the reason that you're valuable. Now, you could know that you're valuable because of what you're passionate about. You could know that you are valuable because you're a woman that believes in something, because you're a woman that is tied and connected to her purpose. And if you having those degrees are a normal, natural consequence of your own purpose and your tenacity and your commitment to making your dreams a reality, there's value there. But the piece of paper is not the value. Do you understand? The characteristics within you are the value. The way that you love is the value. The way that you see the world is the value. The way that you show up for people is the value. The way that you pour into people is the value. The way that you are loyal to people is the value. The way that you speak life into people is the value. These are the things that cannot be replicated. These are the things that everybody just does not have. And even if a million other people had it, nobody would have it like you. Because you're unique. Word to Beyonce. How many amazing singers are in the world? Millions. How many Beyonce, Giselle, Knowles Carters are in the world? One. Thank you very much. I rest my case. It's not that everybody else has to be bad so that you can be good. It's that you need to focus on and understand why you're good, why you're amazing, why you're fabulous. That's your work. Why you love you, why you care for you, why, excuse me, I'm burping, why you honor you, why you love being you. Why would it be the fucking honor of a man's life to be in a relationship with you? These are not questions that you answer one time. These are questions that you answer over and over and over and over again. Welcome to mindset work. You want to rewire your subconscious mind? This is a moment-to-moment practice. This is an at least once a day practice of reminding yourself of who you are, of what you deserve, of the value that you bring into the lives of others, including your soulmate. Because you are destined for a man who sees your value. But you will not allow him in until you believe that you have that value. There's a million reasons why you won't allow him in, but the best example that I have right now, the one that's standing out to me right now, is we all know at least one woman. She is drop dead gorgeous. She is so beautiful. And you tell her that she looks beautiful. And she says, no. She looks so pretty, so gorgeous. I'm okay. You look so amazing. You're so pretty. You look so good. No, I don't look that good. Look at this flaw and this flaw and this flaw and this flaw. We accept the love we think we deserve. Can we have our John Green moment? Seriously. When you don't think that you're worthy and you don't think that you're valuable, people can tell you all the live long day about how amazing you are, about how precious you are. Pile number 3, I have a feeling you get this shit a lot. How amazing you are, how wonderful you are, how you're so helpful to them, you're so brilliant, you're so good at this, that was amazing. And you can't receive it. It goes in one ear and out the other. You don't relish in the praise that's available to you. You don't relish in the people pointing out the goodness about you. But when somebody disrespects you, when somebody says that you're not that good, when somebody says that you're not beautiful, when somebody hurts you, when somebody abandons you, oh, you can talk about that for days. If I asked you 3 people that wronged you, 3 people that undermined you, 3 people that hurt you, baby, you could give me 5. But if I asked you 3 people that spoke life into you, 3 people that gave you compliments, 3 people that told you you were beautiful, could you come up with those answers just as quickly? And if the answer is no, that's a reflection of your mind. That's a reflection of your subconscious mind. That's a reflection of what you spend your time focusing on, and that has to change. Because there is love, Ace of Cups, there is love that is constantly being sent your way, and it goes in one ear and out the other. You don't see how beautiful you are. You don't see how amazing you are, even though the world is constantly reflecting it back to you. What does Beyonce say? It's the soul that needs the surgery. You have to decide that you choose to see you as beautiful. You have to decide that you choose to see you as valuable. You have to decide that you choose to see you as worthy of all of your hopes and all of your dreams and the kind of love and romance that you want. You have to make that commitment to seeing yourself that way, even when the physical reality is reflecting back to you that you're not all that. Even if the physical reality is reflecting back to you that men don't want to show up for you. You have to be committed to telling the story that you're the shit. Because I guarantee you, people and men are loving on you and expressing more interest to you than you see. But you're not able to fully receive it or relish in it because of the stories that you're telling yourself. We're going to pull a couple more cards and then we're going to end it. We have the 10 of Wands coming out. Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. We have the fucking Empress again. Again, another one, thank you. Another one, thank you. The Empress coming through. We are using 3 different tarot decks right now. This is our 3rd. Shut up. Shut up, bitch. We have the Empress. The Hierophant was underneath the Empress. I just put the Hierophant down. And what do we have? The Ace of motherfucking Cups. Again. The first cards out were the Page of Pentacles and then the Ace of Cups. Then I grabbed another tarot deck and we got the 8 of Swords and the Empress. Then I grabbed the Radiant Wise tarot deck. We got the 10 of Wands, the Empress again, the Hierophant, the Ace of Cups again, and the 6 of Wands. This shit is bananas. Bananas. And we have the 6 of Pentacles with the 3 of Cups at the bottom of the deck. Goodness, this energy is beautiful. My God, I need some like trees or something in the comment section if this is resonating with you, if you're claiming this message, if you're claiming your energy and your destiny as this Empress. You are destined to be in a relationship with a man who, I was just saying this earlier, red carpet roll out everywhere you fucking go. Everything is the best of the best. I was watching this video of this jeweler, and he was talking about the engagement ring that he made for his wife. He got her this cushion diamond stone. Then he had it like flared out in rose petals. And at first, when I saw the ring, I was like, baby, that's hideous. But when he described the meaning and the intention, he had a ring stone in the center. He had like the metal pieces or whatever that were like shaped into flower petals around the center stone. He had diamonds dangling from the fucking flower stone. He had a heart that had been like carved into like the band underneath. It was like, this is a private heart just for her. And then etched into each of the petals of the fucking like petals on the ring were different things that they love together, different things that they do together, like tennis and surfing. Like, oh my God. This is the most beautiful ring. The way that I would have worn that ring with so much pride for the rest of my life. Even though I thought that the ring was ugly. If I saw it in a store, I would never pick it up. Hideous. I'm sorry. But when he described the meaning, oh my God. The sentimental value of that ring is priceless. And it's the reflection of a man who sees and cares for and loves his wife. And as he was talking about the ring, he was like, I wanted this to be the best piece that I've ever designed. It's for my wife. I want her to feel like a princess. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm in love with this man. Like, if only. Not if only, my inevitable destiny. Okay? Anyway. You're destined to be in a relationship with a man that is so in love with you that it is nearly overwhelming with the energy of the Ten of Wands. What did I do to get a woman so amazing? I am overwhelmed by your beauty and your kindness and your mind. I am overwhelmed by your ability to create. It's 11:11 right now as I record this. I'm overwhelmed by your ability to create life. You're going to be in a relationship with a man that sees you as having his children as like, oh my God, like, this is the mother of my kids. This is sacred. This is not just, pregnancy is not just something that you hope doesn't happen. It's not just an accident. It's not just an inconvenience. It's not just a necessary, thing that has to get done for the continuation of the human race. This is my wife, the love of my life, and she is creating toenails and skin and a heart that will beat for the duration of this child that grows into an adult, this human being's life. She is creating neurons and neural pathways, stem cells. She is creating life. A stomach and intestines, skin that will protect vital organs for forever. This is major. This man is going to be so grateful to you for the gift of like children, for the gift of life, the sacrifice that you are willing to make so that he can have a family, so that he can have children, so that his legacy can continue. I was thinking about this shit. We need a 2.5 because I'm glad that you brought it up, Jesus, because I've been wanting to talk about it for a hot fucking minute. I do get to have the wedding of my motherfucking dreams, okay? And the groom is going to like it because I have amazing taste and it will be perfect and he's going to look great and I'm going to look great and everything is going to be great. But I don't have to sweeten my delivery for Todd. Who the fuck is Todd? Because my kids are going to have his last name. I'm going to have his last name. This really is the most important day of my life. Not that much is changing for him. Our kids, his legacy. Even though, obviously my legacy, everybody knows me. Obviously my kids will be my kids. You'll know my kids. When you see my kids, you'll think, oh my God, that's not Yu's kids. But still. Her name is Blue Ivy Carter. It's not Blue Ivy Knowles Carter, is it? I actually don't know that. But I've never heard her be referred to as Blue Ivy Knowles Carter. I don't think it is. I think it's just Blue Ivy Carter. We know Beyonce. But still. You give away so much of yourself when you get married and when you choose to have children. You are giving up so much of who you are and who you've been and your identity. My father didn't have any sons. My family name, which my grandfather chose, really ends with me. That is such a special, fucking, humongous moment. Give me that damn ring. Exactly as I want it. And the wedding exactly as I desire it. Matter of fact, add 100,000 to the budget. We deserve so fucking much as women. Until you can figure out how to push a baby through a pin 15, I don't want to hear shit about what I desire and I require in a love relationship, in a marriage, and in a family. None of this continues without me, without my womb, without my love, without my nurture. It's the way that I feel for the duration of that 9 months that impacts the development of that baby and their temperament and their nervous system. It's the way that I feel and the way that I think and what's going on and what's alive within me and the time, energy, and effort that I have put into myself to become the best version of myself, to be as safe and secure and healed as I can possibly be before it comes time to give fucking birth. These are high quality eggs. FDA fucking approved. You know what I'm saying? Like, sister, this shit is valuable as fuck. You're valuable as fuck. And you're destined to be in a relationship with a man who sees that, who recognizes that, and who treats you like that. This woman is everything to me. They're singing the Alfalfa from the Little Rascals. You are so beautiful to me. You are destined to be in a relationship with a man who loves you bad. With the Ace of Cups twice. The Empress twice. Can I get a double for your trouble in the comment section? Because I had to double it. We just talked about this yesterday. Double the love, double the care, double the generosity. Six of Pentacles, this is a man that is going to give to you. So many fucked up, stupid people in the world that just objectify women, that just see women as this thing that's going to take from them. Oh, if we get a divorce, then you're going to take half of everything that I worked for, blah, 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 blah. You see women as a fucking risk instead of seeing women as these amazing beings that bring growth and happiness and magic and love into every place that they enter. These sacred beings. Every single thing that she touches turns to gold. Every single thing that she nurtures blossoms, including children, including businesses. That is so incredibly valuable. My jaw is on the floor right now. God's promise to you is a man that sees that value. And a man that feels so proud to give to you and to pour into you and to create an environment, to facilitate an environment wherein you are able to give and pour and nurture back more. We've talked about this before, this like concept of a man being the person that pours into a woman's root chakra. A man being the person that brings stability, safety, and security into a woman's world. Even though she can have it on her own, she can create it by herself. You're not waiting, you're not dependent, blah, blah, blah. We know this. But he brings that and he adds that and he adds to that. Money can only do so much for you. We all know that, right? Well, let's not talk about what some of us don't know. A man pours into this woman's root chakra, brings safety and security and stability and relaxation and trust into her world. And then she turns around and pours from her heart chakra, from her overflowing heart into this man, growing and expanding his heart chakra, growing and expanding his creativity. Do you know the Muffin Man? I'm just kidding. That wasn't my plan when I started that sentence, but as it came out, I had to. The Muffin Man? The Muffin Man. Okay, focus. Okay, sorry. Do you know how many men in my life have benefited from my creativity, my creative talents, gifts, and skills? I remember my brother, who is 9 years older than me. This was like, God, when I think about this event. Okay, focus. This is kind of a happy-ish memory. So my brother was in college at the time, and he was sending in an application for the Smithsonian to be an intern at the Smithsonian. And for his application or something, he had to do some sort of presentation, creative art project. And me, he's like in his early 20s, so I'm like 12, 13, almost 14, maybe 14 at the time. I come up with the idea for the poster board, and we can print this and you can do this, and what if you got different pictures of this and this and this? And I worked with him on this, and I'm like gluing shit to the board and stuff, and he has his interview and he gets the internship, blah blah blah. That was such a huge fucking moment. And then on my last podcast episode on Monday, I told the story of how around this same time in life, the stupid, sick bastard came over my house, the same house that I helped him with that project. And he was like playing video games with our cousin, and then he went and got them food, but didn't get me food, and I didn't have any food in my fucking house. I did not have food to eat. And I gave you the idea that landed you a Smithsonian fucking internship. Everybody, let's take 5. Because now I'm mad. Hold on. Hold on. Because when you start putting the math together and the way that you're putting the math together, that's a conversation for me to have with the ancestors later. Let's focus. The point that I'm making is that you get to be in a relationship with a man who sees the value of your creativity. As women, we can do things with creativity that men can't do. And men can be creative. And men can be brilliant. I'm not saying that they can't be. I'm not saying that they aren't. But they don't do it like we do it. And even though men and sperm is used in the creation process, and like they are a vital part of life, we get it. We know, we understand. I'm not saying that they don't have value. But to have a womb and to have the capacity and the mechanisms needed in order to create new life, baby, that is a level of creativity that you just can't touch. That is a level of creativity. That is a level of being connected with the divine. Your womb is quite literally a portal between worlds. You create life, and there is a new soul or a reincarnated soul. We don't need to talk about the origins of souls, but there is a soul that moves into this vessel of muscles and bones and organs and all of this stuff. There is a soul that is housed in this body that you created. That is so sacred that I could cry right now. You have a connection and a relationship with God, with the creator of all things. Now they're singing in my head by Ariana Grande, God is a woman. You'll believe God is a woman. Oh my God, we are such sacred, beautiful beings. There's a certain level of creativity that men just don't have access to without women, without being with women, without being connected to women. That's why when you're connected with your own divinity, when you know who you are, and you really do, pound number 3, you're really tapped into your divine feminine more than you're giving yourself credit for. When you're really walking in your divinity, you go into a man's life and all of a sudden he has a million different ideas of blah, 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 blah. And things just start blooming and things just start getting really good. And he's like, oh my God, I have no idea what's happening. It's like I got the fucking luck of the Irish. I don't even know what's going on right now. Oh, all I do is win. I can't lose. It's because of you. He could have been a winner before. I'm not saying he wasn't. You bring something different. You bring something extra. You bring something more. It can't be imitated. It can't be duplicated. That is so special, and it is so sacred. And it deserves to be treated as such, and you are destined to be in a relationship with a man who treats you according to that truth. It is only right to give an empress every single thing that you have, because she's going to take it and she's going to multiply it. It's not so logical where you've got an XY chart and you plug in X and then you get out Y. It's not so logical where you're investing in this particular thing and you've got 7% interest and that return is coming in and you can calculate it and you know exactly how it's going to come out. It's feminine and it's intuitive. You give what you have to women, and they take it and they do things with it that are greater than you ever could have fucking imagined. You are destined for a man who sees your potential to create, to grow, to expand. The way that you are so brilliant with how you invest your energy into yourself and others and community and your children and your partner. And he's like, oh, yeah, yeah, absolutely. Need her. Need that. Need her on my team, actually. Need her to be my wife, actually. Whatever you like. Girl, you know I can provide whatever you need, man. Okay? Word to Tony. And that's all that I have for you, pound number 3, okay? If you want more help with this, pouring love into yourself, honoring yourself, even tapping into and embodying your divine feminine energy, I highly recommend my course. It's called Love After Loss. It's super amazing. You can learn more about it and enroll by clicking the link in the description. I also have digital journaling products that are available. I have Magnetic to Matrimony, which will help you tap into and embody the version of yourself that is in this relationship. And of course, that will make you a magnet to it. Love After Loss, on the other hand, is the program that's made to help you heal from the past. It's made to help you heal from past heartbreaks and heal the fears and stories that men are going to leave you, that they're not going to value you, that they're not going to take care of you, that they're not going to want to give to you, right? So if any of that sounds good to you, or you want to just check out my shit, click the link in the description box. Don't be a stranger to my website. It's very good. I put in a lot of work to make sure that it's a very nice experience for you, okay? So be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe on your way over there. If you guys don't know, I do have the free resource library. So if you want more content and support from me for free, then click the link and get access to that, okay? I love you guys lots, and I'm going to check to see anything that's going on in the chat before we move on. Hi, Brianna. How are you? Yes, we were on pile 3. Thank you, Mystical High Priestess. Brianna says, wow, I felt. Message received. Good. I'm so happy that you enjoyed it. Marcia says, this is hitting hard. Good. I am so happy that that resonated with you guys, that you enjoyed it. Thank you everyone for liking the video and for hanging out with me tonight. I am going to go ahead and log off now, and I'll talk to you in the next pick a card.